Welcome everybody to the first Jubilee stream. We're pretty excited about this for a whole bunch of different reasons. So basically, what we'll have on the stream today is just a free-flowing conversation about whatever that brings up our minds. We're going to be doing some screen, sharing with the screen some of the things we'll look into with the videos people have in mind. And just the conversation will be all around the board, but it will definitely be fun. And then we'll get into a section where we're going to focus on questions and comments that are made in the chat. And then, if possible, I was trying to get the capability so that we could do video call-ins. So that might be at the end of the stream. So anyways, let's go ahead and say hello to our table today. We got quite a few people that pulled up a chair. Go ahead and kick us off there, Anthony.
Yeah, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Hope we got a few good topics to talk about tonight.
Yeah, I'm super stoked.
I can't see everybody. It's in the stream here. I'm over on YouTube.
No, yeah, no worries. Yeah, we got Frankie B here. Glad to have you. How you doing today, Frank?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Doing good. Blessed as usual.
Nice, yeah, and just to kind of Shabbat Shalom, and the fact that we get to come here and kind of spend some time with our fam and love and dote on each other and talk about some things that we find each individually interesting, and instead of like a pointed topic, we get to just kind of go from the hip. So that's always fun. And then you were talking, before off, just in Discord, how like you get pumped up for Shabbat every week. Like you're just like all we can think about, and it's just like how awesome Shabbat is. And it's like obviously I'm not saying it's just this show, but this show is just another way we get to kind of think about our Father and about His creation and all the things in it. So that's just really cool. But moving on, how you doing, Nikki? Nick, the non-GMO Nikki.
That's right. Shalom, everybody. Shabbat just gets sweeter and better the more you get into it. And that's coming from me, who's only been observing it for the past few months. And so now I'm doing well, and I kind of celebrating this weekend. As you can see, my name is non-GMO Nikki, and that's due to the fact that basically a certain workplace mandate was decided not to be affected at my work in no uncertain terms from our CEO. So I'm kind of celebrating that I don't, at least for the time being, have to deal with going from organic to genetically modified. And it's a shame that I have to kind of phrase this in a certain way, not to alert anything in particular. But I'm seriously, though, I'm really blessed and praying for everyone here, whatever they got to deal with, what I'm talking about, because it is very stressful. But I don't know. I just want to give thanks to our Father Abba up in heaven, who is sovereign over our lives and just doing the most. But no, good to see you, Vader, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for being here as always. And then last but not least, how you doing, Rabbit?
Doing well, Vader. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Just wanted to say hey, and I'm happy to be a part of the show. Thank you again.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I'm glad you're here for sure. And a little bit when I'll talk about Jubilees and just what it kind of is a little bit later on. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you being here as well. So, all right, well, that's all the introductions are all in. So let's go ahead and kind of get into the gravy of it all. So, does anyone in particular have a um, something that jumps out off that they want to start us off with?
Yeah, I found out this week a good definition of grace. if you want to hear my take on it.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's not unmerited favor. It is actually finding favor in Yah's eyes. So when we walk in his statutes and his ways, and we are obedient to his commands and his voice, we find favor in his eyes, and he blesses us. It's like a child when you give them instructions and they don't do it. Then a couple hours later, they come and ask you for a favor or ask you for something. You can't give them what they want because they haven't followed your instructions, whether it's to clean the room, whether it's to do the dishes, whatever chores they have. You know what I'm saying? So
Totally.
when we don't walk in the Father's ways, and then we go and pray and ask him for whatever our needs are, we're not going to find favor in his sight because we're not following his ways. I mean, there's also mercy where it's, his mercy does kick in and helps us, but you can only live so long on his mercies without following instructions.
I'll kind of say it like this, into your topic is how I view it is maybe that that grace is being a part of the race, like choosing to actually be in his will or be in the race, right? Whereas maybe that's kind of a bad analogy. What I'm kind of saying is like when you're walking in his will, that's what gives you the grace because he knows that it's not an easy task. But when you don't really have grace when you're not really accepting that that you have a path that he would want you to walk. He has a will for you. And so if you're trying to be in his will, there's grace for your mistakes. But if you're not trying to be in his will, then you don't really accept the grace, because why would you have grace for you get? Does that make a little sense of what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think the grace is merited favor. I mean, when we mess up, we get his mercy. And then we confess our sins and we get back on our square, we repent, and we continue to try to walk in his commandments, his law, his statutes. But when we do fall, we have an advocate in Yeshua. But you see a lot of Christians, they're living their best grace life. This is my best grace life. I can do what I want. I can act whatever way I want. His grace will cover it. Now, you're literally walking in his mercy when you do that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a distinction between mercy and grace. Absolutely.
But you're not walking in his blessing if you're not following his instructions.
Well, kind of
it's like you're
to use the example you used earlier, you're like, you tell your children to do some instructions, right? Well, it's like,
right.
Like mercy is them just not doing it and hoping that they won't get in like that dad will have mercy on them for whatever reason,
right.
that they won't get disciplined. And then grace is like they tried to do what that I asked them to, but they didn't do it perfect. So I'm gonna say, you know what, like I'll have grace on you because I know you tried.
Right.
And
exactly.
And there's a difference with just saying
they're going to find favor with you because they're at least trying to keep your commands. I mean, their room may not be perfectly clean the way my mom would clean it, but they at least straightened it up and they make it look presentable for you to go in and inspect it. And then as they get older, they'll learn how to be more efficient in it. It's just learning how to walk. Like Nick said, we started this thing a couple of months ago, and we're becoming more efficient in it. I mean, we're starting to prepare our meals on Friday. So if we had a gig today, we had lunch. They had food there prepared already, so we ate that. Well, I did anyway. Nick didn't. But we prepared food for the ride home instead of going to Wawa like we normally do or stopping at Dunkin' Donuts and grabbing a coffee. We did preparation, which is on Friday, for Shabbat. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but I want to. Can we emphasize real quick that I just believe you're talking about grace as merited favor with the Father, but I feel like you have to emphasize that the initial deposit of receiving like Yeshua and the Spirit, that's completely unmerited, and that has to just be,
I think that
just
falls
acknowledged and worship. But I know, but I'm just saying there's
I
some
get that, but I
nuances
think
that
it
have to
falls
be
under a
discussed
different.
here.
That's a free gift. Salvation is a free gift. It's
But
what you it's what you do
it's
with it
grace
after.
too.
But it's
Right.
what
No,
you
I
do
think I
with
see
it
what you're.
after.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to
Well,
just make clear some nuances here, because we definitely
right.
don't deserve our Savior and the forgiveness that we've received, and even the instructions. We only get it because we're, the Abba's children, and He loves us. But I just want to, kind of make that distinction. But yeah,
Right.
go on,
Well,
Anthony.
but we're called to walk out our salvation with fear and trembling. So
Check
if
this.
you're living your best grace life, you're really not walking it out with fear and trembling. That's
Right.
Check this stream right quick, Bear. Okay, they saying it's good now. All right.
Okay, weird. I'm not
Something
sure.
happened on my.
Okay,
It
say
kind of
it's
quit
good
working. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry to everyone out there. Thanks for the heads up. I'm not sure what's going on. It looks fine on my side, but Grabble's got to grabble. Grabbler's got to grabble. It just went from 12 people
Grabbler's
to
got to
2.
stay grabbling. So, Rabbit or Vader, what do you guys have on grace?
That's kind of just what I
Well,
was
me.
saying. Grace is like you have to start doing the obedient acts in order to. It looks like the stream might be down again. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I would say if someone loses the stream, guys, just unfortunately just refresh it first.
No,
If it comes back, you're good.
I think it's my side now. I think I have to like.
Yeah, I got it on. I'm a little behind. It's got a little delay, but it sounds like it's all right.
Okay, sorry guys. I can't tell if it's y'all's side or my side. I have like an error over here, but it's not being very want to work with me. But anyways, so um yeah, so kind of what I was saying is in order to have grace, you have to have done some action like for instance, like a king's grace is like if a king requested you to
Yeah.
do something and you did that
Yes.
for him, you would be in his good graces. Whereas
Yeah. That's
if you were
exactly.
supposed to do something for a king and you did the opposite, then you would not be in his good graces. But
Exactly.
but at the same time, it's like when someone is doing something like for instance, all of us that are trying to keep as many commandments that the Father puts on our hearts to obey, then obviously we are doing some of those wrongs. We may have the calendar wrong. We may have the times wrong. Who knows? Like some of that stuff you can get into forever. But the fact that we're trying makes us able to receive grace because we're trying to do something that He requested of us. Therefore, if He sees us trying and we don't have it perfect, He gives us grace to make up for where we lack. And it's like the grace is something that's bestowed on you, but you have to have an interaction. It's like you know someone without ever meeting them, and I'm not just saying physically meet them, but you know what I mean. So I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts
Well,
about it.
well, Deuteronomy 28 describes Yah's favor. It describes every blessing that you could ever obtain. And the first verse is, if you follow my commandments and hearken to my voice, all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you. And then he goes and describes the favor that he gives you wherever you're at. Now, if you're deceived and you're still in the church, you don't know, because the church has hidden the law from us. We're really told not to walk in the law. We're not under the law. So, but once you get this information and you find out that we are still supposed to follow the Torah and the laws and do as much as we can in Babylon, like Daniel did, then that blessing from Deuteronomy 28 it comes upon you. It's not even available to you. It's on you, literally, because that's what Deuteronomy says, 28.
Right. The only thing I think that basically has changed from the Torah is when Yeshua died on the cross and was resurrected, is the fact that we don't have to kill a sheep every time we do something wrong now. We don't have to kill a cow or whatever. We don't have to make that sacrifice because he made that sacrifice for us and is still making that sacrifice today for us in heaven.
Yeah, it's just a change in the priesthood from the old Levitical to the new Melchizedek priesthood. Now, I might be wrong about that. There might be some more nuance to it. So if anyone wants to correct me or someone in the chat, but I mean, I was thinking about this today. Like, is the only difference between the initial Torah and the prophecy of Yeshua is just that, right? I mean, it's a change in priesthood.
I think it's like
I would agree.
a journey to the priesthood. Like, in order for him to be our high priest, the son had to come down here and be conceived inside of a woman and had to grow up in the in the instructions, having it right there. So like if he was born in some other country, would that have stopped him of getting to where he needed? No, but it's like obviously he was set within that culture at that period of time for a purpose, and so that he could learn the ways of what priestly duties were. But obviously he saw the contradiction between the way that man was trying to do it and the way his father would have it been done. And so there's a contradiction there. So he came here to show that contradiction, to point at the parts that were correct and the ones we need to focus on, and to eliminate the kind of the hogwash that man had added upon the whole point. Now, this kind of comes to whether or not you believe that that Adam and since then they've all had the instructions throughout the entire story, that it wasn't just through Moses when they started to behave or do these things. And so because of that, it's always been a thing. And that's why it's so beautiful that like when it's really talking about Israel, it's literally talking about all of those who decide to join that quote unquote kingdom or that nation. It's those that are tying themselves to
Right.
the king, to the master of that nation, and saying like, this is who I want to be my king, my high priest. And so that's what it's always supposed to have been. But obviously, we all, in my opinion, we all ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If any of us were in that position that Adam, or as women that Eve was in, no matter the individual, we would all fell for it. And so we're all guilty of it just the same. So that being said, I think him coming here was was needed for him to actually become our high priest, because he had to be like us to be the high priest. Like, he had to have a physical human body. Like, his body that he got is the same body that we're gonna get. So
Right, and that part of the prophecy had to be fulfilled, where he died and was resurrected, and then did 40 days of ministry in a glorified light body, and all these miracles that people witnessed, and essentially multiplied the disciples. And here we are today, and the Bible is the number one book, best-selling book in the world. So I feel like but I guess the point I'm trying to get to is we needed to see that the resurrection was possible, and that was kind of like the deposit of the prophecy to come, because if you believe we're not quite fully in the new covenant yet, then there will be a resurrection on the last day, and we'll have a change of kind into something like the angels and have glorified light bodies. I mean, yes, no, do you guys agree?
Yeah, and I almost kind of feel like that's what Yeshua is saying when he says like I leave you this instead. It's like knowing like what we have coming to us. Like, see this body? Like, this is what I leave with you. I leave with you this promise, this covenant, that you will obtain this, just like all the other ones who heard my voice and followed my ways did. This is your promise. This is what I'm leaving you with. Like, that's like not like a, because I already think, like, me personally, I think we have the divine spark, which was given to us from the Father. That's like the mechanism in which you took, body, earth and spirit, and then boom, you had this new creation of soul. Like, that thing is the Father's. He created that in us. He created our individuality. So like that's his, but who like we are not in a, I guess this individuality is kind of the wrong word, but like his reflection was what he created with that divine spark. But now um, eh, we are this new creation that gets to choose one way or the other. But anyways, yeah.
But
And then one about that is Yeshua came here to show us how to live, show us how to keep the
what I was
Torah.
just going to say.
Yeah, because all the Pharisees and stuff, they say, well, like washing their hands and eating kosher and all that stuff. They added to it to suit their own understandings or likeness of it, and it so far off track that people just couldn't keep the traditions of men anymore. And I guess in a way they might have felt like they were falling short. But when Yeshua did come, who did he get onto? He got onto the Pharisees. He didn't get onto the people that were living in sin and didn't know it. He taught them how to live
Right.
not within sin.
He taught us to walk in the Torah and in love.
Exactly, and he showed us how.
That was his example, to walk in the Torah and to walk in unconditional love.
Well,
yes,
and it's this too. Think about this, like, how he says, like, the rich man comes to him and he's like, how do I obtain everlasting life? He's like, take all your possessions and sell them and give them to the poor and the widow, right? It's like, think about how easy that is for someone who has $10 of value in their life, right? And then think about that juxtaposed to someone who has millions or billions. How much harder is it the million and billions to give all that away as opposed to the person with $10 to their name? So,
that's the situation of the church, because they're all making money off of this. But they don't want to teach Torah. They don't want to teach flat Earth because they know they'll lose revenue. Well, so literally, how hard is it for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let's call that religion. I mean, I'm not trying to correct.
No. You're right. Religion teaches that. It teaches that, grace and all these feel-good things. You can live your best grace life. You can do as thou wilt. Grace will cover it. And then they start teaching the law and the Torah and that the earth is flat, and they start to lose revenue, and then their congregation gets smaller. And then the next thing you know, they're being outcast by the rest of the religious people. And every generation that we've read about in the Bible has done that. They've mixed the idols of whatever region they were in with the Torah and with Yah's instructions. And Yah told them not to do that, not to have these pagan gods, not to have this compromise continue in my instructions. And every generation of the Israelites did that.
Right. And if
That's
we,
why I think we're like Daniel in Babylon, because Daniel held his position. He stayed on his square. He stayed in the law of Yehovah, and he walked upright. He was separated. He stood out.
yeah,
When the king gave the decree for everyone to worship that idol, he stayed in his place and worshiped Yah the way he was supposed to. And
yeah.
the other priest called him out on it, and he got thrown into the lions den. Pretty
Well,
sure
I
it was
mean,
lions.
take like this for example. I mean, how much of the world is understanding what's going on behind closed doors inside a building? That's why the scriptures teach us to go into the world with the gospel. You know, teach the gospel to the world. It doesn't say for the world to come into a church building. And,
So what
and
gospel are they teaching, though, Anthony? The gospel of you can live whatever way you want, and then grace will cover it. Because that's pretty much what they're teaching.
Is it possible for someone um to follow the law but not really have faith in God, to not really know God?
Yeah, that's exactly what the Pharisees are. There's actually a warning
Yeah,
that says if you're not
if your
if
righteousness
you're
does
not
not exceed that of
of the Pharisees, you will not inherit the kingdom of heaven.
Right. I
right.
guess I'm more leaning on the side of like grace and faith rather than the works of the law. I think Galatians 2 chapter 16 kind of points that out pretty well.
well,
Um,
what that,
but
that,
that's just how I interpret it though.
right
Yeah,
now
but
when
that's coming from a person who was a quote unquote Pharisee, who did all of those things, and his point of view in saying that was to say, see all the where we had come from, all of that's not going to save you. And what his point was is they would do certain things within their culture that would be seemingly good, like giving money, but the offering jars in which they put those into, they were shaped in such a way that if you were to kind of drop it in a certain way, it would echo out, and you could hear that there was a lot of money being put into this jar. And so just because you're giving, if you're giving so that other people see, wow, look how much he gave, that is not the same thing as following the law when the father says, take care of the widowed and the orphan. He's not saying do it just because you have to or because it's going to make you look good, but do it because you have a will of love to help them. But so that's what I'm saying is doing the law is what the Pharisees were doing. They were giving money, they were doing all the commandments, but the reason why they were doing them had nothing to do with the reason why the Father asks us to do them. So that's where the kind of division is between that, and I feel like Catholicism, and when I say that, sorry if this offends you, but anyone that would hear this, I view every single denomination as just a denomination of the Catholic Church, because everything they're teaching is literally contrary to what it's showing, and they focus like Frankie, you set up earlier how they want your money. Well, they're all about the Levitical laws about giving a tenth of your money. But when it comes to not eating pork or not, um,
Yeah, they'll lose revenue with that. That
yeah,
kind of talk will lose. They'll lose revenue if they tell you you can't eat pork. I mean, our whole society is based on eating pork. It's in everything. I mean, I
Wall to
stopped
wall
eating pork
pork.
and I see it everywhere. And
you know not to
it
eat
is
pork.
just it
Eating
is
pork
a
only
major part of our society.
but see,
eat
it always goes down to see. Oh, you're just like the Jews saying don't eat pork, but it's like that's
But
not even our point. Our point is look at all the reasons why you shouldn't eat pork, and that alone should make you understand why he was like, hey, yo, see that thing? It looks like it's food. It kind of tastes good, but don't eat it. You know what I mean?
This is what I got. This is what I grace is walking in the favor of the law. What do you think about that?
Grace is
Grace
walking in the
is
favor.
walking in the favor of the law.
Yeah,
The blessing of the law.
That's actually really good, man.
No, but I think that's valid, but we also have to. I just want to again emphasize that Yeshua talked about if a creditor forgives two separate debts, and he forgives one guy for like $100, and he forgives another guy for $1,000 or $1,000,000, which of those debtors is going to love his creditor more? And I really relate to that because I feel like I'm the debtor who was forgiven for $1,000,000, $1,billion, what have you. And so I just don't want that element of the gospel to be lost on anyone, especially someone who hasn't heard it yet. But basically, that they really got to hear that first and foremost. But then, not stay in this hyper grace mode where it's like it's not what you do that defines who you are type thing, and you can just do whatever you want. So I mean, what do you think?
Well, here, think about it like this: if someone like breaks into, let's say a pastor, you're walking down the street, and an event just happened where a person who has no money for food just broke into a bakery and stole some bread. Okay, so the law, right, would look at that situation and possibly have grace because she broke the law. Whereas the baker could have mercy and not charge her, not say, charge her with this crime. That's where mercy is. So the mercy is giving up, is receiving something, even though you're guilty of the crime. Grace is different. Grace is like the court system, where it's like, why was she you know what I mean? Like, for instance, when you get into he tells you not to eat pork. So you go over to someone's house that knows nothing about the fact that you don't eat those animals, and let's say they have shrimp cocktail, right, is the main course. I think as a believer, you should honestly and sincerity pray for your food and eat the food that is given to you, and not let it be a point of a blockade between you and your brothers. Okay?
I think that's what Paul was getting at when he said.
And so you have grace with the Father when you did something that was wrong against the law, but you get what I mean? But he ultimately gets to decide whether it's white or black. You know what I mean? Like, for us, I think that's what. Go ahead.
Didn't Paul deal with that, saying that if someone serves you a meal in a company, you should eat it, but pray over it, just not to infringe upon their hospitality?
Exactly. You don't want to cause offense because of your beliefs.
That gets grappled, and that gets told, you can eat anything you want.
For sure. But see, I'm talking about it from the same way that Paul would have been talking about it, coming from a man who already observed what people like to call Torah. So he was already doing these things, and what he should, where he felt like he was such a righteous man that he was going around and killing Christians for being heretical. Like, he was literally to the point following the Torah by killing those who were saying blasphemous things, talking like adulteral things, right? Because
they believed that the Messiah had come and Yeshua was the Messiah, and he was against that because in his Levitical law, Messiah hadn't come in his mind until
Exactly.
Yeshua knocked him off the horse.
The road toward Damascus. And I
Yeah,
completely agree. But what my point is he never got like chastised by Yeshua saying, "Why did you do all those horrible things?" You know what I mean? Like he even killed people that were after his heart. But so what my point is like the grace is even though he followed the law, he did it incorrectly. So he has grace there,
Right.
right? But I think it comes to your intention, obviously, and people want to like make intention a thing that's in the past or in the future, but your intention is what you're doing every second of every day. Like you have this physical reality to express your love and your obedience to the Father. So you have every opportunity to get better and better and closer to him. And I've said this like before, is what barricades are there for those who are seeking truth? You know, like even if they were to
not
hide the scripture, you know, even more than they already tried to do, what stops someone who's seeking the truth from continuing seeking the truth? Nothing, right? What could stop
nothing
them?
at all. No, look, we found this chat, me and Nick, and it's been nothing but a blessing to us. We only started this walk maybe 3 months ago, you know. So and once we prayed about it, we sought the scriptures, we read about it, we searched out, we dug in like Bereans, and we came to the conclusion that to walk in the law, grace is the favor of walking in the law, and it's the Torah and love together that brings salvation.
Well, my kind of example of that is following the Torah is showing love. It's a way that we can show y'all that we do love him and
Amen.
to be obedient to him. And it's not a salvation issue. We're already saved through grace.
Amen.
But do we want to go out there and do all this bad stuff just because we're saved, or would we want to, you know, show Yah that we appreciate what he's done for us by sending his only son to die for us, be that
Even
sacrifice?
in churchianity, I still loved him and I still honored him, and I did the best I could with the knowledge that I had. But
Right.
when new knowledge is given to you, you have to search it out. You have to test it. You have to make sure it's right. And if you find it is right, then you have to walk in it.
Right.
Just like,
And
A lot of
go
people
ahead, Anthony.
don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to leave their bubble. They don't want to leave their, like, they don't want to believe in space, but they don't want to believe in flat Earth because they don't want you to take their space from them.
Yeah, but I think
You know what?
I think it has to be said though, and I would love to hear what you guys think on this. But there is an argument that there are people deep in churchianity right now who are perhaps blameless in the sight of Abba, just on a Luke chapter 12 verse 48 basis, where it's really of what is put in front of someone, that much is expected. So, I mean, if their heart is not capable of going deep in the scripture or questioning stuff, are they still not possibly blameless and justified in the sight of Abba? I mean, what do you guys think?
well,
I
Who has
I think
who has who
let's
can
look
I,
at Paul in Damascus. You know, he thought he was doing right, and then all of a sudden he was struck
he
down
found out he wasn't.
this and why do you persecute me, you know? And then he came to that realization that, hey, you know, I thought I was doing right, but I realize now that I was doing wrong, so I need to repent for my ways and do the right thing. And then we get all the letters that Paul wrote. You know, I think it was amazing how he words some of the stuff, even though some of it's pretty difficult to understand, even for me and even for anybody, in my opinion. But yeah.
Yeshua said, you really have no excuses. I've given you the prophets and I've given you the law. I mean, it's
Yeah.
in his word. You seek it
Yeah,
out.
good point. Good point.
I mean,
Very
you
good
really
point.
have no excuse. You can't just go to church on Sundays and receive a message, and that's it. You
No,
have, and we are so blessed to have Bibles in 100 different translations here in America, where there's people around the world that can't even get one translation of the Bible.
I think it's even illegal to have a Bible in parts of China.
But in China, you can't have a Bible, as far as I know. So we have really no excuse to not seek out the scriptures and do the work and study to show. Paul said to study to show yourself approved, a good workman unto Yah. There's no excuse. And that now you can be blinded and and listen to the grabbled version of it, but when the truth is given, when the Spirit reveals the way He wants you to walk, it's your responsibility to dig it out and adhere to it. And when you find it through revelation, through the Spirit of the law, that it is true, then you have a responsibility to start walking it out to show your love towards the Father, to receive His grace in the law.
Rabbit, what do you think?
Kind of soaking all in, listening to you gents.
Yeah, Rabbit, what do you think about that?
I'm just listening to you guys, man. I'm enjoying the input.
What about Vader? What do you think? I mean, do you think that some could be, even deep within churchianity, could still be seen as blameless in the eyes of ABBA just based on
I'll
what they're capable of? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll touch on that real quick, Vader. I'm sorry, man. Let me just, if I can, I don't mean to cut off there. I do think that there's too many people that where their entire religion is just based around 1 hour on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning to afternoon, and that's their religion. Religion should really start when you leave church on Sunday afternoon, and how you react and go out throughout your day or whatever. I do feel like there is a divine obligation and responsibility once you are privy to flat earth, because flat earth ultimately will bring you closer to your creator. At least that's what it did for me. It took me from a path from
Yes.
knowing, from believing to knowing. And so once you have that wisdom, and that wisdom, with great power comes great responsibility, these things make sense, because with that knowledge, with that wisdom, there's like a divine obligation and responsibility that we should do to move our society, move our people forward responsibly. So and if there are people in church today that don't want to listen to the truth and the wisdom behind flat earth, that are and they just want to kind of stay in their bubble, I don't know, man. I think we're just not there yet. There's just too many people that just hold on to the globe earth theory. The indoctrination is just way too strong, and it's just going to take a little bit more time. I do think over time people are going to have to start making a choice, because the reality is the earth is level. You know what I mean? We do live on God's creation. We all are going to the same place. Unfortunately, it's going to take some people a lot longer to get there. Sorry, Vader.
No, well said, well said. Go ahead, Vader.
Yeah, so kind of what I would to say to that is, I think that we all have different life experiences, and we're all born into families, into dramas, into history that we had nothing to do with. And I think because of that, we're always somewhat jaded to reality or to our experiences. So that being the case, I think it's very easily a desire for people to want to be presented with, here's a list of rules, do these rules, or here's a list of books, read these books. And I think that even in the temples of Baal and Moloch, there were people who, quote unquote, were a part of that religion, but their heart and their intentions and their will was not, you know, in the same. They were kind of fence sitters, or kind of as an example. And so I think that because we can even see that, like, even people who do the bare minimal, they probably in their heart judge others that they feel like don't do the bare minimal to their standards. And I agree
Right.
with Rabbit on the thing where you have this responsibility, but it's an individual responsibility. So when I say the things about pork, I'm just talking about me. I'm not saying what Abba's put on your heart and what told you what's true. And though I think ultimately things are right or wrong because we live in an objective reality, I think that everyone reserves the right as humans to be outside of that correct path. So that being the case, I personally think that it's the law is there as a guide, but it's not like anyone who, or at least the people that I surround myself with, I don't see people saying if you're not following the law 100%, then you're not real Christian. But I do see
Right.
people who say that if you're following the law, then you're not Christian because the law was done away with. So the segregation there, the division there is typically forced by the side saying, well, no, the law is no longer a thing, are the ones that saying that are the ones that typically be more judgmental about those who do keep the law, because they assume that we believe that you have to keep all 600 etc laws all at the same time in order to have a relationship with the Father. And we're saying no, we're human, we're not going to perfectly follow that law even if we could, because we're human and we're outside of that promised body. And so we are just practicing that muscle and trying to get as close to the Father as we come until we are given that final prize of the inheritance of like his son got. We'll be like his son, where we will have those eternal bodies like he was given by the Father. And so
Yes.
that's my desire,
So,
is just to get as strong as I can, not for vanity, but out of desire to get as a strong relationship with my heavenly Father as I can. And never do
Right.
I look at someone who's eating pork and say, wow, they're really weak. I say, oh, that's the Father hasn't laid it upon their heart yet. Eventually they'll get there. I wasn't there, a few years ago. I was eating pork. Well, honestly, I didn't. I never enjoyed pork, but I loved catfish and I loved shrimp and lobster. Like I ate those things and I had no issue with it. And again, would I deny someone who didn't know that I didn't eat it and they asked? Of course not. But at the same time, I know he gave me those instructions not because he is some mean guy that just created a whole bunch of rules, but it's a father that really loves you and he just wants the best for you. So you shouldn't eat those things because of not only what they eat, etc., etc. There's lots of reasons. But anyway, sorry,
No,
that was
so,
pretty long-winded.
absolutely.
hold on,
You
hold
know,
on. To
I,
interject on Nick's point, I got a brother at work. He does not acknowledge the law, but through his character, he walks in the law. He upholds the commandments of Yah. He's got strong character. He I've never seen him curse. I've never seen him get upset. He walks in the spirit of the law, but he doesn't. But he, like you just said, he won't acknowledge that we're under the law. He says that we're under grace, but he walks in the spirit of the law because he is seeking and consecrated after Yah. And he doesn't believe in flat earth either. And I think once you start to believe in flat earth and you start to dig that thing out, then you start to see all the lies and deceptions that this society has given us. This society is created for humans to be lawless, to live in a state of lawlessness and just do whatever thou wilt. We are living in the generation of do whatever thou wilt. And it's you know, the devil prophesied it just like Yeshua prophesied good stuff from Yah. So it's just a horrible state that the world is in. And I think that flat earth is what breaks the spell of it. And it shows you all the other deceptions that are going. Literally, me and Nick were joking around, and I was saying everything we've ever been told is a lie. And we were talking about flat earth, and we were getting into all that. And down the line, I found out everything we literally were told is a lie. Even the name of Jesus, the name of God, these are all
Everything.
graveled lies. And
Yep.
and now we know that his name is Yeshua, and we know that Yehovah is the name of the Creator. But at Christmas, all the pagan everything we've ever been
There
told.
there might have been a
is
huge reset in the middle 1800s. We don't know. I mean, it's wild though. We're finding out everything is a lie. But I wanted to
everything.
zero in.
And it starts with flat Earth. It starts with flat Earth. When you break that spell of that lie and you admit the Creator created this world, then you start to see the other deceptions.
You know, can we just zero in on something real quick? Because I really want to hear your guys' take on this. But in Luke chapter 17, verse 20, Yeshua, or it says, once being asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of Yah would come, Yeshua replied, the coming of the kingdom of Yah is not something that can be observed, nor will people say, here it is or there it is, because the kingdom of Yah is in your midst, or other translations are, is within you. And I guess this mystery, which the Spirit's put on my heart recently, as far as are we in the new covenant or not, is Yeshua basically did give us a deposit of the new covenant, and we're partially in it, because I guess how, if you interpret the scripture a certain way, like we are given the power and authority to do miracles in his name and spread the gospel. And it's so my question to you all and everyone in the chat is like, are we not partially in the new covenant, even though I think most of us believe here that we're not, and that only comes on the day of the resurrection. But in a sense though, we still are somewhat in the new covenant. I mean, Vader, what do you think?
So
Well,
here's my upfront
like
thoughts is
say one
just
thing right quick. Vader, I'm sorry to interrupt, brother. I'd like to say one thing about Luke 17, 20, and 21. We got to keep reading there, brother, because in 22 it says, then he said to the disciples, these days will come when you will desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and you will not see it. And they will say to you, look here, or look there. Do not go after them, nor follow them. Now, that's basically uh, building upon what he said in verse 20 and 21 there. You know, people's going to say that. But then Yeshua says, don't look to what people say. Look to what Yah says. Look, you know. Anyway,
But
I just
Anthony,
include.
but he's saying it's in the kingdom is in our midst, it's within us, and then he says in other scriptures that you will do miracles greater than I've done. I mean, maybe he's talking about us in the resurrected reign at that point. He's not talking about like right now or right then when he said it. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just putting it out to you guys. Vader, what do you think?
I think that miracles, like, this is the thing is we have the English system and we have these words, and those words can actually mean a lot of different things. So when we say miracle, are we saying something that's unexplainable? Are we saying something that logically shouldn't have happened? Because what like I'll give you an example. Now I am not a person to share things to me, but this is just like what it just this is the example that I got is one night I had this dream, and it was like one of those dreams. I'm a pretty deep dreamer, and I remember most of my dreams, and it's been a struggle through my life because of it. But regardless of that, this one dream, all I could see, like when I was sleeping, it was just the same picture of this car, but all I could see of the car was like in the where the back window is, and then the side like window is like that, that kind of seam right there of where like the color of the car is, and I could just see like this small little angle, and like I literally woke up and just had this same picture in my head all day. And like as I was driving to work, every single car I'd see that was that color, it was like a maroonish color. Um, um, I was like, is it that car? And it was that car because that previous night I had prayed. I had said, Father, like, I want to be able to help someone. Like, I want to be able to do something for someone. And so I had this picture and I went to work and nothing happened. And I kind of forgot about it throughout the day. But like, as soon as I got back into my car, it's like, I'm in a car. Oh, that car, that dream. Oh, whoa, this picture. And so, anyway, so I'm driving home and I need to get gas, and I pull off and I go to the gas station. I'm getting gas, and then I see this maroon car like on the exact opposite side. Like I was on the very end and they were on the very end, and it was this maroon car, and it was like I looked at it and I was like, no, no. And I went in, I paid for my gas, I filled up, and I was looking at that car, and no, that's not what I was seeing. And that car drove away. But when that car drove away, another maroon car came and parked in the exact same place. And sure enough, it was that car. And I was sitting there like looking at this person in the car, and they were fidgeting around and doing and all this stuff. And I just like literally like I knew it was like that's that person. And so I felt weird because like I was married. I was just a random man, and what I saw was a lady and a child. And it's like I started making up excuses like, no, it's gonna be weird, she's gonna think I'm weird. And so I literally started driving out, and I was like, no, no, no. I started driving out, and I literally heard stop, and I like slammed on my brakes. I was like, what the heck was that? And he was like, I kept hearing go, like, no, like it wasn't words, but it was like, do what I told you to do. And I literally turned, like, did this weird parking thing, went around, and I like walked up to her window, and I'm like, okay, I was like, hi. She like rolled it down a little bit, and she was like, hi, hello. And I'm like, okay, I know this is super crazy, but I had this dream last night of this car. I explained the whole thing, like my day looking for this car, and when I saw, I knew it was her. And I was like, is there any way that I can help you? Is there anything that you need? And she literally just breaks down in tears. And so what I had first asked is, what is a miracle? Is a miracle like when he says you'll do greater miracles than this? Is he talking about super duper flashy stuff? Like, I'm not saying he's not talking about flashy stuff, but what my point is isn't that miracle of being able to have a connection with the Father, that he can give me a picture that I was able to literally help someone? Like she had told me, she was like, I was literally just praying to God that he would make some way that I could get to my mom's house. And then you come up knocking on my door being like, hey, I had this dream, do you need some help? And it was like, to me, that is a miracle just as much as parting the sea is a miracle, or turning, fish and bread to, to feed the multitude. So, anyways, yeah, what I would say is, I would say, if the Father lays something upon your heart, do that thing. Don't worry about where other people are on the trail. And if someone says this is really important to me, instead of taking that as someone saying I am greater than thou, take that as, hey, maybe the Father's trying to get my attention about this detail from this person. And I think if we can all do that, and that's kind of what I mean when I say I'm that I'm greedy with other people's puzzle pieces, is because I want those things.
Me
I
too.
want those topics to excuse me, everyone. I'm gonna clear my throat really quickly.
While you doing that right quick, I had a little bit of a concept, and this just kind of came into mind this is thus thinketh Anthony. But when you get done, I'd like to kind of ask what y'all think about it.
Yeah, so all I would say is to finish is like you shouldn't focus where other people's are on the path as like the world would view it. Like they view it like the pyramid where like they're at the top and you're at the bottom and everybody come see how good we look. And that's not how at least I view it. I say, "Oh, I've struggled through those things too. If you are struggling with those, I'm totally able to talk to you about it." And I'm the type of person to also be open and saying, "Hey, here's my struggles. Is there any way that you can help me out with that?" And so that to me is what it is walking in a relationship with the Father and then looking at each other as brothers and sisters and when I say brothers and sisters, I'm saying like you would even if your brother said something that offended you, you wouldn't disown him, would you? So let's love each other like, we are blood because we are of the same house of Israel. But go ahead,
No,
Anthony.
very well said. Absolutely. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, we was talking about how Yeshua said that we will do greater things than he. Um, this is just a concept now. This thus thinketh Anthony. Um, he when he was here, he walked around uh, very very kind of small area. I know it's a large area, but compared to the rest of the world, it's a fairly small area. But he walked around. He preached the gospel. He went into the world. He showed people how to keep the Torah and saved many multitudes, right? But in that small area. Now look at what we're doing today with the internet. Like for example, what we're doing right here. Um, we're spreading the gospel. We're sort of teaching the gospel of keeping the law and um being obedient and stuff like that. So what if this reaches a lot bigger part of the world, like Australia and Europe and Asia and Japan or something? We with the internet, with the capability of the internet and what we're doing, perhaps we are doing uh, like a larger or how did he put it? A greater thing than he. Perhaps we are preaching the gospel to more of a multitude, and that's what he wants us to do is be greater than he. Like I said, it's just a thought.
No, this is great. No, I feel it's like the spirit's all over this tonight. I'm really blessed by this. Rabbit, what do you
Well,
got?
can I say something? Well, you
No,
brought
but
up the miracle of the bread and the fishes. He literally showed us that he is the bread of life and that he is the provision of Yah. And if we follow after his example, then we will walk in his provision and his blessing
You know
and
it's
his good.
it's kind of a random thing from that. It's kind of like a funny idea. He like the Father has always made sure we had meat and bread. You know what I mean? Like through all the things we have um like
Yes.
with them they got the manna which they made bread from and then they had the quail and that's what they eat and then he gave us the uh, he it's just so funny to kind of think about how he does that, how he has these little funny things in there where um, it's kind of going into the vegan eating meat or whatever. But me personally, I think it's funny how he always also gave us meat there, like our desire to eat meat.
I would actually like to do a stream on what we should eat and what we shouldn't eat sometime or another.
Yeah, I kind of see it as we're kind of going down the path, and we'll eventually kind of get there when it talks about like when we get into Deuteronomy and Leviticus and stuff like that. But we still got the flood to go over, which I'm pretty excited will be our next stream. We'll be talking about that destruction. So, um, yeah. Anyways, but you get what I'm saying. Let's get into that stuff, and then for sure I want to get when we kind of move that way, excuse me, in the scriptures, we'll get to a point where that will kind of be the main deception, and that obviously will take some time to get through all of that. Anyways, back onto kind of deception. I was sorry for kind of um,
Rabbit
interrupting
trailing.
there, yeah. But
No,
so,
that's what we're all about, man. Let's discuss everything that comes to mind because
oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
So I talked earlier about the Jubilee. So I kind of wanted to explain that for the people who are here and those who watch later. Again, thanks for being here and thanks for giving us a watch and thumbs up and all that jazz. Rogan's up. Um, so the reason why the seven is like obviously super important. So this is our seventh Sabbath together. And so every seven Sabbaths, there's a special one, and then you have the 70, every 70 is Sabbath, 70 years Sabbath. But the Jubilee is a year at the end of a seven cycles of the calendar. And one thing about that is kind of how they did things. So this is when like all debt was forgiven. um, a lot of the times they would do, and this you see this in other religions too, like the Mayans and stuff. Every 7 years per their calendar, they would wipe. They would literally take out all the fires in the whole kingdom, and they would relight it from a new fire, and all debt was forgiven and all that jazz. But it's also like a time of of release, and it dealt with like for the like rabbinical law, it was about like property rights and land rights and stuff like that, but it was also about debts. And so y'all were talking about like you know um, like mercy, like we were talking about mercy earlier, and this is kind of where mercy would be used. It would also be a time of um, like of a Yom Kippur where you would look at your own sins, forgive those who maybe transgressed you, and obviously we all want to be pardoned by the Father, right? We all want Him to look favorably upon us. And so I think if your heart's ever getting to a point where you're looking at others and judging them from a place of that's not love, and people say that, but I think if you really think about it, like it of love, well, we have a whole description of love. It's not just this one thing. It's are you love is patient, love is kind. Love does not keep record of wrong. It does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. So there's all of these things that make up love, and people kind of want to just say it as um, as a, what is that? A buzzword. And to me, there's so much more deeper meaning when it's talking about walking in love than just being like, no worries, I, you completely sinned. There's no worry, like there's totally a different type of mindset for that. But that being the case, I just think that we should always want to seek peace with one another. We should always want to be able to look at each other as brothers, despite our differences or views. And I think that is how you actually refine something. Is how you refine a relationship. It's how you sharpen iron. Like the refining of an edge. Um, and so in order to do that, you have to be diligent. Like you can crudely make something that can cut someone, but if you make it an art, an intimacy of creating a sharp weapon, it'll be better than something that you just quickly put together. And so I think in all the things, it should, like, this is a walk with each other's as brothers and sisters, a walk with our Father, who like who is our guide, and His Son who's our shepherd. And and just keep moving on. So um, that's
Walking
kind
in the Torah and
I've
love.
got a,
and so
I've
that's
got a
well,
question.
well, yeah, just to kind of finish it
Oh,
off. So with
yeah.
that, we're not doing it like this is just kind of using the number 7 because we have 7 is obviously a super important number within all of, scripture. And so and I'm using jubilees because they do it every 7 years. And to me, um, it's this type of discussion where we can talk about things freely. There's not like it's kind of a time of reflection and think about like, oh, look at where we are up to this point, right? Like we've already made it to the first jubilees and we've had disagreements, we've had strife, but it's like we're still walking. Like this is a time where we can look back at that and say, okay, how did things go then? Let's move them forward. And it's a way that we can kind of mark something that is, it's 7. Like, yeah, like that's in the grand scheme of things. If we get to 700, what is 7 to 700? But at the same time, like right here in the now, like we are walking that, we are doing that, and that's the beautiful part is the journey. So anyway, sorry to take up so much time, but go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, my question is a little off topic, so I'm kind of glad you did take up that time. You was talking about love and love one another. I also think we should love the creation. Like Earth and everything in it. Um, Now, I was talking with a couple of folks earlier, Wendy and Jeremy, which they're actually in the chat, and they was talking about a Tarantula Hawk, I think it's called. Well, I never
The
heard what that thing.
wasp.
It's a big wasp, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
and they hunt spiders. They
yeah,
they
and I
inject. Yeah. Go ahead.
research on it. I googled it, and oh my gosh, the thing is hideous, man. It's hideous. How do
I
we look like that?
What? I think that's beautiful. I literally think that's like it's like it almost reminds me of like an SR-71 as a wasp.
But dude, that thing, the thing eats the spider while it's alive,
No,
bro.
dude, they inject their babies into the spider, and the spider eats their babies eat the larva eats the spider from the inside and then is hatched outside of the spider.
Yes,
Like,
but the spider is still alive,
yeah,
man.
I know.
That's sickening, bro. I just can't get over that, man. I
I
had to.
think it's super cool, dude.
I want to get a bunch of wasp spray and go to Arizona and hunt these things down, man, and kill all that I
You
can
know what's
find.
actually really cool is I don't know I know I've told you all this before, but when I still lived in Texas, I had this group of wasps where I could literally train them and I could touch them while they were on their hives. Like I could literally like not talk to them, but like it was a very interesting experience. But that being said, even with those, like they have a couple forms of that here in Utah, and they're so intelligent, dude. They'll literally like stand there and let me look at them and totally be cool with it. Like where they're not like afraid or weird, but they like do this little hop around. They move way different than all other wasps. They're not like they just it's interesting. They're
I
literally
watched.
spider hunters.
I watched. Look, I don't love spiders, but I don't hate spiders. I think they're a kind of a blessing to us because without them, I mean, our bug population would just overrun us. But uh, that particular wasp, I don't dislike all wasps except for when they get in. I don't want to sit on them. But I don't dislike all wasps, but that particular one, that thing is hideous, man. And I love it because it's y'all's creation, but man, that thing it makes me want to go to war with it.
Yeah, I'll bring
You
that up
guys,
on a
as you
show.
Hey,
guys get older, I got a question for y'all because I find myself as I get older, like if I find a spider in the house, I'm doing whatever I can to get him and take him outside. Like I don't kill
Oh,
any bugs that I find in my house. I'm just grabbing them, taking them up, put them in like a little box or something, and I just put them outside. Do you guys find yourself doing that too?
I do that with all bugs except ants. If there's ants on my floor, I'm just gonna vacuum. Like, and I'm vacuuming the floor. I'm not gonna stop vacuuming because there are ants there. That's how I kind of
Yeah,
think
no,
about it.
ants are a different breed as far as like, but no, I'm picking up what you're putting down, Vader.
Yeah,
Like you have to kind of stamp that out. You'll be overrun with
yeah.
them. But with other bugs and insects, like I'll do what I can to catch them and take them right on outside.
Oh, for sure. And it's funny because
Welcome,
There's
Calvin.
my kids will run to get me to tell about bugs in the house because my wife will just smush them and throw them away. Like to her, they're like, "You're in my space. You're in my house. I don't come to your ant hill, or I don't come to your spider web and break it and knock it down or come inside. So if you're in here, this is my domain." So like I don't judge her for that. Like she's dealing with it with the way that she wants to do it, but I do when she does come. I'm like, "Oh, why did you do that? I would have taken it outside." But then it'll just come right back in. That's what she says.
Well,
shouldn't
hey,
we, in order to love our neighbors, shouldn't we be staying home and flattening the curve?
Yeah.
I kill wasp in my house, and for the simple reason is one night I saw a wasp flying around my ceiling. I said, you know what? I like wasps. They're good to society. They're a good bug. So I'm just going to let it be. I knew it was going to die eventually because it probably didn't know how to get back outside. But it kind of on my ceiling and stayed there for what I thought was all night. And then just before I get ready to lay down, I lean back on the couch and it stung me on my hip, on my butt actually. I said, nope. If they get in the house from now on, I got to do something with them, and I'm not going to catch them and put them outside because I don't want to get stung. But I don't want to kill them. I don't just go around looking for wasp nests just to rob them or whatever. But
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, certain things like if a lizard gets in the house, I'm gonna try to catch him and put him outside, or different bugs like good spiders. I'm not gonna catch a brown recluse and put it outside or a black widow because what if a child comes around here and ends up getting bit by that same spider? You know, uh,
Man, you
same.
live out in the middle of nowhere. Ain't nobody gonna come out there.
Yeah, hardly
I'm just
anybody.
messing with you, man. I'm messing with
But that's known as the crazy person around here because I know the Earth is flat, and I teach people that, or try to teach people that keeping the law is still important, and everybody looks at me around here like don't listen to him. He's the crazy person. you know.
Don't take my space from me, Anthony. I need my space. I need my science fiction.
Yeah, yeah.
Calvinic, welcome to the stream.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Oh, long time no,
Shabbat.
Hey,
long time
Shabbat
no see,
Shalom.
Calvin. Nice to see you, brother.
Yeah,
Just
he's
You
looking.
want to add to the conversation, Cal?
I was on the road for a while.
How was your trip? Was it good?
Yeah, I went through Kentucky and then came down to North Carolina.
Nice.
But I didn't have good service along the way, so I've been out.
No worries. So I'm glad it was safe and you got there. What's your kind of plans now that you're in North Carolina? Are you staying there a while?
I'm gonna go find White Rabbit and beat him up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm around. I'm easy to find.
Hey, what's up?
White rabbits are hard to find.
Sometimes, yeah.
LOL, just me.
Certainly, if it's snowing.
Quick question, Vader. Were you going to try to do the call-in thing tonight? We got about 30 minutes left. If you want to try that out.
We can definitely try to do it. Let me see here. Go like this. Give me a moment, guys. Y'all talk for a little bit while I try to get that set up, if you don't mind.
I kind of want to bring up something we was talking about earlier about the keeping all of the law. I only know of one person that ever lived that kept all of the law. And honestly, he didn't keep all of the law for the simple fact that laws aren't for everybody. The commandments aren't for everybody. Like there's some commandments that's made for women only, some made for men only, and stuff like that. Now I only know of one that kept all of the law that was given to him, what was presented to him in his time, and that was Yeshua. So if that being the case, and there's, if it was a salvation issue, that being the case, and there's not going to be anybody in heaven. Nobody can get into the kingdom of heaven. Now, there is where grace comes in, and redemption and salvation and stuff like that. Because even though we might not be perfect, Yah forgives us for not being perfect. But he also shows us the way. He teaches us. Just like if your child is messing with a plug-in when they're really young, just learning able to walk or so, you say, don't mess with that plug-in. And then he goes back to it, or she goes back to it and messes with the plug-in again. You tell them again, don't mess with that plug-in. You're not telling them that to be cruel to them. You're telling them that to basically save their life. Eventually, when they keep messing with the plug-in, what do we have to do? We have to get our belt, spank the bottom, teach them correctly. We have to reprimand them. And that's kind of what I'm kind of getting at about keeping the Torah is sometimes we have to be reprimanded to be shown the correct way to do it. But then when we do get reprimanded, we know what to do then, and we can repent. We can start following the law correct, or that particular part of the law correctly after that. Just like when Paul was struck down because he thought he was doing right, and y'all said, no, you're doing wrong. He blinded him for 3 days, right? Now, that wasn't a permanent thing, but he gave him the chance to repent, and I think that he did. A lot of people say that a lot of
do you think God works like that now? Will like blind someone and tell them, and let them know like this is why I am, doing this to you?
no, I don't know if it's to that extreme
But
nowadays.
that's how it worked back then. Like God would talk to them and like, hey, I'm blinding you, and this is the reason why.
Yeah, I definitely, and it works the same way today. I just don't think it's quite that extreme.
Okay.
You got to look at it from a spiritual level. They're blind. They're spiritually blind.
That is true.
They're walking in a lie. And he's given us the call to expose that lie. I'm really convinced that flat Earth is the pathway to exposing the lie.
I think it is.
Everything
I think that's all about a great awakening. I think the great awakening will be people understanding. It'll be like just as profound as Neo waking up in the pods of 1 million or so pods. You know what I mean? He woke up from and saw the truth. I think once people kind of were able to see the profoundness of level Earth and flat Earth, that it's a kind of a an awakening reaction similar to that.
Yeah, it disconnects you from the Matrix.
Absolutely.
I think flat Earth
100%.
disconnects you from the lie of the Matrix, and then you start to find out that the Bible was grabbled, and this is grabbled, and this is lied to, and literally everything we've ever been told is a lie.
Right, but I think very sadly, I think a lot of Christians, a lot of people are just going to try to maintain this friendship with the world and ignore flat Earth because, then there's problems with the space program and space travel, and we're being lied to on all these fundamental levels. And like, they'll agree with you, yeah, we're in a fallen world, and we don't believe in evolution, we believe it was created, but like it's just the flat Earth deception is so, it's brutal. It terrified me at first when I was waking up to it. It took me quite a while as well to do that. I'm just saying, like, I feel like so many people are going to try to maintain this friendship with the world, and it's not going to be good the more truth they're let into.
They don't want to let go of their science fiction.
flat Earth
It's
deception. The flat Earth is not deception. The globe Earth is the deception.
That's okay. That's what I meant. Yeah, I meant that them hiding the flat Earth and putting the satanic globe. Another just element of the globe Earth deception is it basically is saying that there's no barrier between us and this vast space, void. And they release these movies like Alien and just putting it out there that there are these horrible entities out there. But instead, the beautiful truth is, no, we're covered and protected with the firmament, and the rainbow is a sign of his covenant that he won't flood us again, and just all this beautiful scriptural truth. And again, like flat Earth was terrifying to me at first. It just it totally rocked my world, but it ended up being so beautiful, an incredible witness. And I just pray for the body of Christ and even non-believers, because I know a lot of non-believers, they witness flat Earth and then they come to Yeshua, and I'm just praying for these people just to do whatever they can to not maintain friendship with the world, because we're instructed not to do that.
But could the deception
when all
protect us, though?
Before y'all go on, I just posted the StreamYard link. If any of y'all are here in chat want to come on video instead, we'll end the stream there, so you won't come back to Discord unless you want to. But those that want to be on video will follow the link and then drop out of Discord and come in, and then I can bring you there. Those that want to just stick around here, you're
Wait,
obviously more welcome to do that.
you can only have
hold
3
on,
people in there, right?
But this is like Inception. Does Discord go away, and then if we go to the StreamYard, how does it work?
So all you'll do, those that are in Discord, you'll hit disconnect, and then you'll go to general, and you'll click on the StreamYard link. It'll bring it up for you, and then you'll just connect through there. You'll be able to hear me through StreamYard.
How many people can we have on there?
So we can have a couple at a time. So basically, just come in there. I'll add someone to the call. We'll ask the question. I'll say it out loud, and then we'll come back to the panel to talk about it. But those.
And will that video feed go on this YouTube feed as well, or is it something separate?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
I think I'm gonna stay in Discord because it keeps.
Yeah, I am too.
Hey.
Let somebody else go in there that wants to ask a question. You should use it for primarily to chat, because there's 12 people on the chat right now, 16. So
Isn't there a way you can bring them into Discord, but they have to kind of raise their hand? You know what I mean, before they speak, and they just can't automatically speak. You have a way to.
Yes, we do have that capability. I haven't looked into that much, but I don't know when it. I would basically have to do a screen share for that. I need to play more with the capability. This is our first one, so we're kind of just testing this out.
Have you tried using Zoom?
No, I haven't.
That can run a lot of people in through a video chat pretty well.
After the stream, we can take a look at it, because there's another guy
that will work.
who's got that on his Discord, and he's got it mastered, and it works really well with a lot of people that are calling in. You just can raise your hand, and then the moderator can be able to
pull
bring
someone
you in.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly, yeah.
I know how to do it. I'm just confused about how to do that with the OBS. So it may be easier than I think, but yeah.
Yeah, we can practice with it later, man.
yeah, my rabbi does that. He has a Bible people that are on Zoom that can't make it to the physical building, and they ask questions from the Zoom. Yeah, it works very well, and you can have multiple on there. They have up to 20 at a time sometimes.
Yeah, I think it just affects other
I
people.
just like saying my rabbi.
I think you just need to have a good connection to do it. I think if you're just running on your phone, that's when you're going to run into issues, because you're taking in, video now instead of just a, graphic or whatever.
Yeah, and I got a bit of a good news announcement to make, and Vader Bear gonna help me out with it. in the very near future, I'll be getting a computer and Wi-Fi here, so
Yeah, yeah, right.
I'll be able to be a
Hey.
more heard, I guess. Yeah, I kind of can't wait.
That's awesome, Anthony. That's great. But do you have enough?
Beautiful.
Well, actually, never mind. I'll ask you later.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah. Also, I can't wait to get into this after the flood stream because I've got a bit of a presentation that I want to make to. But I don't want to spill the beans too much. But somebody had mentioned Peter's vision earlier. I definitely can't wait to go over that.
That sounds awesome.
What was that again? Somebody mentioned what?
Acts chapter 10, where it talks about Peter's vision, where he saw all the unclean animals come down on the sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Cover that. Everybody thinks it's a food thing. It's not about food.
That's the Gentiles. Yeah, I did a whole search on. Yeah, that's a good topic.
Can we put the idea out there in the future to have some sort of in-person event like Flattoberfest or something like that? Like, I don't know if anyone's got like a lot of property, but you could maybe host it.
The biggest issue with that is we all live across the world. Like, so for y'all, going to Flacktoberfest is way easier than for me. And then you have the individual lives where I got 4 kids. So if it's somewhere close, like like I can do it. But if I have to drive hours and hours and hours, it's like, well, I gotta work. I got, I have kid stuff, like less, all the dad stuff. So, um, I just say that to say making a group together is hard because it affects some people differently depending on the money. You know what I mean?
Well, also, if we can actually get our YouTube up to 1,000 subscribers by the 18th, I guess, or maybe the 19th, I'm going to do a lot of live streaming from Take on the World. But at this point, I'm going to have to do it on Facebook. I can't do a live stream on YouTube right now, but I can definitely go live on Facebook.
We're coming out to Anthony's farm.
Well,
Falling down.
I actually saw something with StreamYard though. If we have StreamYard, you can live stream from whatever, even if you don't have the 1,000 viewers.
Oh, well, you're going to have to help me out with that one. Because I'm definitely going to do some live streams to Take on the World, and up until I get in trouble for doing it.
Wait, are you saying you can't live stream YouTube?
You have to have well, you can live stream YouTube, but you can't do it from your phone. But I'm saying through StreamYard, you can do it from your phone.
Hey Vader, you can live stream Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch is
Twitch
like
is a
more
whole
of
other
like
platform, too.
Twitch is like a video game platform.
No, but there's all kinds of creative arts on there. There's music, there's people drawing, people doing arts and crafts, and there's really a whole open realm.
You even
for
have just like a chat hangout section, where you
yeah,
you can follow people
get
game,
into-
but you can also
yeah.
just kind of like make a group to chill and hang out over certain topics and whatnot.
Yeah, you can link your you can join in. I don't know how they do it, but they have people join in
Yeah,
together.
I'm not on Twitch much. You know what I mean? There's, there might be a couple
I
times.
was.
Yeah, I got a couple guys that I like to watch, but I rarely watch them.
All right. So,
Yeah, I haven't.
So you brought up you brought up the Twitch thing, and that instantly made me think of Austin. I don't know if everyone, like a lot of the people here are. Oh, sorry if you hear that, guys.
Yeah, I see that. I see you're not big enough to be on Twitch.
Oh yes, and I'm pulling that up
Hilarious.
right now. I'm gonna show it on stream. It's just
That guy was a gamma male. He was that was so funny, man. Austin ripped him up, man. You ain't even big enough to be on Twitch, man.
If you can't live stream with a phone, how's Austin doing it?
He's got over 1,000
He
subscribers,
has
man.
8.77
Yeah, he's got like 8,000,
thousand.
I think, subscribers. That's why he can do it. He's been able to do it for a while.
Well, you can only do it if you have a certain amount of people.
On your phone.
Because
Yeah,
he'll
you got-
stream on his laptop and whatnot. You don't have to have that many subscribers if you're streaming over your laptop. But I guess specifically with your phone, you have to.
Yep.
That's weird. Maybe you can make your phone think it's a computer.
I hate to be that guy, but I really am putting out E.C.F. Fest hosted on Anthony Dickinson's estate. Sorry, Anthony, if I'm doing you bad. Just
Come on
putting it
down
out.
to Anthony's
Go on, brother.
farm.
Bring it.
What's the date on that?
Wait.
All right, here I got this this part up. I'm gonna play it.
But I have an omnidirectional mic that's speaking. Yeah, come over here and get in front of the camera. Yeah, come on over here.
Everyone watching this live stream is an idiot.
Get in front of it.
This guy
Get in
is
front of
so
it.
stupid.
Come get in front of it.
Flat Earth.
There you go.
I
Hey,
mean,
do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
I hope people are donating to
Yeah, I think it's so interesting how Calvin and Frank, you guys are kind of like,
Hold up, I'm playing the
Uh,
video right now. Can y'all not hear it? I thought I was sharing the audio. Can y'all not hear it?
I'm seeing it now. I'm
we can
seeing
hear
the
it. It's
video.
good.
Okay. Sorry about that, everyone.
There it is.
They're a gamma metal.
You're totally what's wrong.
You know what a
with
gamma
fucking-
is?
I know that's what.
What's the radius of the
I know
Earth?
that's
Do you know?
what.
Do you?
Yeah, 3,959 miles. What's the circumference? You don't know. What's the curvature rate? You don't know. How fast the Earth spin?
Hey, keep
You
it-
don't know. How fast it go around the sun?
I'm just gonna
So
say.
you're
Yeah,
just
we can hear it
ignorant.
just fine.
I think you're ignorant.
It's
I know
paused
the
right
answers,
now,
you don't
though.
know.
Hey, actually, I don't have anything to do, so I'm just gonna be here
Perfect.
on your stream.
So answer the second law. What's the second law of
Here,
thermodynamics?
here comes the Twitch comment. Oh
Okay.
my
I don't like
gosh.
talking to these people.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
I'm just gonna stand here.
You know what the First Amendment is?
I'm not the government, so I'm not infringing on any.
Okay, I want to stop here. He says, "I'm not the government. I'm not infringing on anybody's rights here." What does the you know the what is that thing called? It's like the Constitution. Doesn't it say we the people? Isn't the government we the people? So this guy's argument of why what he's doing is not completely childish behavior is because he's not the government infringing on his rights. He's just a person of the government. Like we the people. It's very very funny here, and I'm gonna continue on.
Make you look dumb.
Who is this? Right quick.
This is Austin with when he was in the St. Louis Arc, and that guy came up to him and was saying this, but here in a second he's gonna be like, what are you even streaming this on to? He's like, YouTube. He's like, you're not even on Twitch. Here we go, guys.
I'm way louder than you, bud. So if you want to have a respectful conversation, you're a good representative. You're really nervous and you're shaking and twitching right now. It's because you know you're way
Austin's
out of your
with
league
some
right now. You don't know-
rando, some triggered guy that walked up
Does
on him,
my
Anthony.
IQ care about your opinion?
I remember.
What does IQ have to do with anything?
You just sound an idiot.
Yeah, because you're a flat earther. You're a dummy.
Okay, so do you know what the second law of thermodynamics is?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't matter.
You may
What you're
explain?
talking about is you're just lying to people.
No, I'm
you're
not.
just lying to people.
Okay, so you're saying we didn't really see a skyline of Chicago across Lake Michigan? You're saying I'm lying about it?
What the fuck does that have to do with flat
Well,
Earth?
it's impossible
How is
on
that
the globe.
flat Earth?
Nice
Because the
intelligent
skyline of
language
Chicago-
there.
Okay, here's what I want you to do.
You're going to keep interrupting me? I'm just going to ignore you.
No, actually, I'm about to let you talk for the next.
Get a little closer so we can put you on blast and chop you up.
Here it
That's
comes.
the gamma male you are.
The gamma mail.
You're a gamma.
I hope I end up online.
You already are online.
What is this on Twitch?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah, you look
wow,
dumb.
you can't even get on fucking Twitch. dude.
Wow, you
Yeah,
can't
I-
even
I-
get on effing
No. Would
Twitch,
you support-
dude.
support platforms banning people?
I support-
Oh my god, okay. I could literally just play this whole stream and laugh at all the things or point out all the amazing things that he's bringing up in the way he does. But this is obviously Austin's content. I did talk to Austin about creating a clips channel for him, so I'm looking into doing that for him. I'm going to talk to him about maybe featuring some of those clips like I am here on this channel once I get them made. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's quite hilarious. Have y'all all seen that?
I saw the video playing when that jogger got up in his face and everything.
No, I haven't
the
seen
best,
that. This is hilarious, though.
the best witsy clip is, "Oh shit, the Earth is flat." You remember that one?
Where was he at?
No, it
He
was
was
the
down
lady.
at,
The lady at the when he was at the end of
at
the
the
game
game.
of Bucks in 6, and he was like, "Hey," and it became a funny meme. He was like, "It's flat." She's like, "What's flat?" He goes, "The Earth." And she's like, "Oh God, the Earth is flat!" And just
Oh,
started
and
running down
started
the
running
street.
away,
And
running
yeah, dude,
away.
and it was hilarious.
That was pretty awesome. Hey, but you was
Let's get that pulled up. Go ahead.
I've had to watch that thing 100 times.
Nick, you was asking him. You was mentioning about having a get together here. Man, that'd be great, brother. We got 4-wheelers to ride, kayaks to float in, bonfires to build, and plenty of fellowship. Yeah, we could definitely do that here, man.
No, I would love that. I'm just putting the idea out there, and also coincidentally, are you in Mississippi, Anthony?
That's right, Mississippi.
Right. So right next to you is Alabama, and Frank and I love this one church in Warrior, Alabama, called Church International. It's run by a guy named Robin Bullock. I don't know if anyone's familiar with him, but he is a spectacle of his style of worship and prophesying. It's really crazy. So we're trying to also maybe visit that church, and I don't know. It would be cool if we could do an ECF fest in the future at some point. So just putting it out there.
That'd be dope.
Well, now I'm about 3.5 to 4 hours from the Alabama line. I'm basically on the Louisiana side of Mississippi. I'm 2 hours due north of Baton Rouge.
Oh no, you're still a lot closer to Warrior, Alabama than we are right now because we're up in Northeast Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But
Calvin,
no, I would like that.
do you know where that part is? Like where in the video it is?
Calvin just linked something. If you have Facebook, you can easily get to it.
I don't have Facebook.
Oh, that's all I got it on. It was
Hey, did you notice the arch in St. Louis is a representation of the dome? They do it right in front of us, man.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, dude.
You look at that arch; it is the arc of the dome. It's the firmament.
Man, I really want to
It's
find
so
that clip. Does it?
arguing a guy. The guy's calling him stupid, and he's right in front of the dome arch. It's so funny.
I like Austin's snappy remarks, or, comebacks to people that just kind of walk by and poke a jab at him. It's like an instant thing that's on his mind. He's really good at that. Like some dude walked by and I don't want to mention it. It's kind of vulgar, but walked by and said he was this, and like immediately Austin said, "Oh, you're a pedophile" or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's very good at that. Because he actually, like, when it comes to his knowledge of the globe model, like he already knew that stuff, and then when he actually tested it, he was like, oh my god, this is garbage. So it's like a personal thing for him, because he was like, the information, he wanted to work out his intellect, and so as he did that, he came to that information, and then once he actually thought about it as a mind, and I think that has a lot to do with the father. Once the father's like, hey, what does this mean? And then he was like, oh my gosh, this is what it means. And that's why he has such a heart and a voice to go do those things, is because this is like a path that the fathers had him on, to get him to where he's going. And really think about it. It's not easy to do what he did, and to have a person like Chris, basically offer up his RV to him, and go through all the stuff they have to, just being in like they get to see a lot of cool things and be a lot of cool places and stuff, but they also have to go through all like the stuff we don't get to see, like the paying $50 for a toll, or like just like they're in a unknown place where they could easily, like, cops and can just come up to them and steal their stuff. Like, how amazing is that? Like,
Yep.
Luckily,
Can I,
they are a little further out west now. I think he was at Yellowstone today, so they won't have to worry about the tolls anymore. That's basically East Coast, Northeast area. They want you to, number one, pay taxes to build and maintain the roads, and then they want to tax you to drive on them. It's ridiculous up there, man. The toll roads, it's a farce, man. It's double taxation with no representation, and it pisses me off.
World where
hey, can I,
cops
yo, can
come
I just say
to.
something real quick? Because the Spirit just put something on my heart, and I feel like there's just all this synchronicity pouring out in this fellowship tonight, and just a lot of stuff going on in my life recently. But it just dawned on me, and this is kind of a vulnerable thing to say, but later on this month, actually on the 24th, I will be celebrating 7 years of sobriety, and it's just it's really awesome because I do feel that Jubilee awesomeness in it. There's something about the number 7 that ABBA kind of brought to us, and it's just interesting. Like even our legals, like our legal system, everything gets forgiven after 7 years, and I don't know. It's just I've really felt the Spirit in this fellowship tonight. I'm very much blessed by you guys, and I don't know. I'm just definitely not a product of keeping the law or anything like that. Like I am absolutely a product of grace, unmerited grace and favor, and I love the law because I think it's just good behavior, and it pleases the Father, to see us, follow His instructions. But it really is about the grace of Yeshua, and I mean, He removed that stronghold from me, and I'm really I don't know, I'm just getting kind of jammed up talking about it, but I don't know, just you guys know what it's like when you just got like synchronicities pouring out left and right, and you just have those days where you're like, man, I just can't deny you, Abba. Like I can't deny you wherever I go, and it's awesome. So I just want to say, as we're like starting to wrap up here, I'm very much blessed by you guys, and just wishing you all the best go forward.
Well, many, many blessings and much love to you, brother, for enduring what you've gone through. I'm not gonna say that I was ever an alcoholic, but I did drink pretty much every day up until about 3.5 months ago, and I just didn't want it anymore. I do drink a little wine on Shabbat, but it's not something that I'm looking forward to all week for drinking wine. I'm looking forward to Shabbat for keeping that day holy and just giving Yah that whole day. Just no matter what comes into mind, what I want to do or anything like that, I'm just not going to do it because I want to give that entire day to Yahuwah. Now, when it starts, I don't know. When it ends, I don't know. But I try to keep it from sundown Friday to sun up Sunday, just to cover all my bases, And a lot of people go off of different calendars, like the lunar calendar, and it's like on Thursdays and Wednesdays sometimes. And I don't really get that. So I can't really follow that too well because I don't understand it. But I do understand about putting a day aside for Yahuwah. And Deuteronomy chapter 14 says if you can't get there, then tie up your money to strong drink and alcohol and stuff like that so that you can get your mind at ease and put yourself in a position to keep that holy. Deuteronomy 14 has a lot to say about a lot of different things, really. It's kind of a subject all into itself, in my opinion. But yeah, absolutely. I look forward to celebrating this day just for Yahuwah, not for myself, not for anybody else, not for the rest, not for drinking wine, but to give Yah that day out of my life. Just give that day away.
Amen. Well said, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, well, we're gonna wind down, guys. We started a little late, but since it was kind of just all over topic, we don't really have enough time to, I feel like, fairly get into another topic um, or discussion. Obviously, we will continue this conversation. Those who want to are more welcome from the stream or later on to always join our Discord. We'll throw that in chat and we'll also have that in the description. So just come and join us. We talk about a lot of different things. We want to hear and see your puzzle pieces that the Father's given you. So before I wrap it up all the way, I'll go ahead and give the last couple of few of y'all to kind of say your goodbyes, and then we'll get it done.
Well, right quick, I kind of want to shout out everybody in chat, everybody that I can catch anyway. Wendy Moore, Cover to Cover with Jeremy Pierce, R.A. Tacky, Tiger Bear, F'd Up World, Infinity Split, the 456, which you're with us in the chat. Erie Christian, which I haven't seen you in there before. Welcome to the stream. Let's see here, just kind of scrolling up a little bit more, but I just want to thank everybody for showing up and hanging out with us. It's very much appreciated. We couldn't do this without y'all. I hope I see there's like 15, 16 people in the stream, watching. Awkwardly awesome. I know I'm missing people. I'm sorry, but I just want to tell everybody that's in chat watching the stream, y'all are very much appreciated. Much love, many blessings to y'all. We could not do this without y'all, and honestly, we do this for y'all. We hope that y'all all enjoy the show and the gathering and the fellowship. Much love, many blessings. Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Yeah, blessings to everyone. Really blessed by you guys, and I just don't want like the moment to pass us by. How awesome it is that this is that we get a Shabbat, and it kind of gets topped off by this great fellowship, and I feel like this is just us being in His perfect will, where we're obsessing about Him and wondering about Him and His Scripture, and He's putting us with others who want to ask the questions and share their own revelation about the Scripture and His Word. And it's just like, I just feel so cutting edge, and I just don't want like that moment to be lost on anyone here. Just that we're right in His will without a doubt. So yeah, I'm blessed by you guys. Hope everyone has a good week. If I don't catch you in the chat.
Yeah, no doubt, guys. I wanted to say thank you. I always love being a part of the group and discussion. And to everyone who's listening, the earth is level. You know, uh, this information will bring us closer to our Creator. Just remember that a lot of people are just super indoctrinated into what the status quo is right now, and we're slowly trying to change that. And when people start understanding the truth, they are get closer and get right with God. And so this is really good information. It's just going to take people some time to understand it, and you just got to be patient.
Yes, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Today was a wonderful day. I did Bible study in the morning. We worshipped in the afternoon, and then we came on here and had a wonderful discussion about grace, about Yeshua, about Yah, and Nick's testimony was awesome. The Shabbats just keep getting better and better, and I'm just thankful to be a part of this community. Love everybody in the chat and in the YouTube.
I think I might have missed a couple people. I want to shout out Rochelle Everson and Cedar Rabbit as well, and Tiger Bear. I don't know if I had mentioned him either. Sorry, y'all.
Cover to Cover with Jeremy Piers. He's in there too. Francesca Jones.
That is
Another
my
name.
beautiful wife. For all those who don't know.
Yeah, that's Mrs. Vader Bear.
All right. Cool.
Alrighty,
I like how
guys.
me and Cedar Rabbit get double shout outs because we exist simultaneously in the chat
I
and the
know.
Discord. Go ahead, Vader.
That's so awesome. Uh, yeah, maybe I need a talk in chat to do that too. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, guys, thank you for being here. Make sure you share this video with people, and come to the Discord. That's what it's mostly about. We'd love to get you into the conversation. If you don't want to be on stream, no worries. Join us for the, after the stream or before the stream or Wednesday or Tuesday or any day of the week, because there always will be someone down to talk most of the time. So, thank you again for your time, and I hope y'all have a great night. We're working on some music, so we're gonna soon hopefully be able to have some intro music and some outro music. But we want to kind of just get it created within the group, so we don't have any trouble with YouTube. I mean GravelerTube. Anyways, love you all, guys, and until next time, remember that the Father loved you first. Bye.
Amen. Shabbat.